Welcome guys to Only Piff. I'm your host EJ. If you're new to the channel, go downstairs, like, subscribe, give us all that good stuff. So right now, I've got a very, very special guest.
Special.
He can introduce himself.
All right, yes, I am Ras P from King Alpha Sound System, or just Peter from Bootleg Recordings, or just Peter.
I call him Ras P, innit?
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
I've known this guy for 40 years. Literally 40, maybe 42 years.
42, bro.
Imagine that, man.
So this guy was the
me.
guy that showed me an upgrade.
Yeah.
It's only Piff, so he's gonna tell you his story because things have changed. Like I don't really piff too much. He's not even.
I don't really smoke. I drink a little beer now, man. You know.
But we come from the stages where there was only like 2 strains, and I just felt it'd be good to hear his story coming up in this whole cannabis space, because he's not really in the cannabis space no more. But I believe cannabis and music go hand in hand, and obviously he told you King Alpha Sound is what he does.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give him the floor.
Yes. All right. That's nice. I feel very comfortable here. I've been in this house how many times? So much times, but I haven't been here for years. But anyway, let's not digress too much. So, I grew up in Hounslow.
Tell them about Hounslow back in 1980s, yeah?
Yeah, so we moved to Hounslow in 1986, and Hounslow was racist. Hounslow didn't have no black people. There was this black people and that black people, and that was the only black people. But the reason I'm saying that is to let you know about the cannabis scene. Because the deal was in Hounslow. Obviously in 1986 I was a little youth, I weren't smoking cannabis. But as we come up like early 90s, 92, 93, you know, I was 13, 14, whatever.
So let me interject. Drum and bass times?
Yes, actually.
Or happy hardcore?
Happy hardcore.
Okay.
Early 90s, happy hardcore. Pills used to be £25. People was taking these £25 pills, and you know, it was all lovey-dovey and all of that in them raves. But I was too young for that anyway. I was 14. And I'll tell you what, my first smoking experience, and this is mad. I only thought about this the other day, really. But it was my friend's older brother. So if I'm 14, this guy's about 22.
Okay.
And he gave us some hashish. But you know what he done with the hashish?
Tell me now.
He took a Coca-Cola can and pricked some holes in the top of the Coca-Cola can and put the hashish on top of the Coca-Cola can. Bro, I didn't know. I just thought, I said, hold on a minute. That's a crack thing. But anyway, right? I was just young. I was young, and he knew I didn't know, so he could just do that. But I had that little one pull on that hash, and it was mainly hash where we used to live. I had one pull, and I was finished. Not finished, but when I knocked on my mum's door to go home, I had to knock on the door and look down at the ground like that, you know. But it was nice. That was the beginning. After that, you started having 2 pulls on his Coke can, and then you started buying £5 drawers.
£5 drawers?
£5 drawers.
Stop, let's stay there. What did you get for £5?
So, you used to get a quarter for £25.
So we work it back down then.
Yeah, so I'm going back down. I have to do it like that.
7 grams.
So, for 7 grams for £25, and that, if it was hashish, you get it for £20, right? 7 grams, right? But I don't really smoke hashish. But, so you get £25 worth of weed, 7 grams, that's a quarter, £25. Go down is £15 for a 3.5. Okay. And then go down there, sorry, £10, and you know what I mean, you're not getting much, you know. For £5, you used to get like a couple of spliffs.
Okay,
less than a gram.
To you is, was it pans?
Yes, so you're bringing back the memories.
Thank you. Was it 2 cigarettes on the pound?
I didn't even know about the 2 cigarettes, man. What, you're schooling me, blood?
No, you're schooling me. Okay, cool.
Because it was a penny. It was a penny. A penny weighs 3.5. A 2p weighs 7 grams. And you could meet a guy somewhere on the street, wherever you're in the park or whatever, and he'd have to pull out this little case. Like, some little case, and then set up and it take like this. I'll tell you how long it take long like that. And then it get his, and it's going like that.
And he's trying to get to bed.
And he's like that outdoors in a park or something like that. King Arthur was waiting round there.
I'm going to talk to the fans because a lot of people are smoking hash now, but it's a different type of hash. It's rosin and resin. So what I was going to ask you is, because I know you know how to make the hash, so it would have been solvent in there, isn't it? Obviously.
Mate.
So how would they make the hash back then?
Let me tell you. So they would get something called henna. And when you're young and you don't know much about cannabis, you used to get sold henna all the time for hash. You just take it home and smoke it and ask yourself, are you getting high? Am I getting high? No,
that's mad. You have to ask yourself.
Yeah. You know, mash up your chest, all of that, you know. So they get henna and they get a little bit of like pollen, right? You know, you get a bit of that, and then mix up these things together. I don't know what they put in it to stick it together, but they press it. But what you used to find is, you used to buy like a 9 bar of soap or slate or Packy Black, they used to call it, Afghan Black. You know what
the
they
squidgy
just,
one?
Yeah, the squidgy one, squidgy black.
What give it that consistency? Do you
know what? So I know, because you know I've made a few things. The purer it is, I have found, because we went to Morocco. I'll tell you about that Morocco story. You know what I mean? But the purer it is, and you know the hashes out there is nice. The purer it is, the softer it kind of was, you know, that's how it was. So when they're doing that soap thing and all of that, and it's all hard and it's got it used to have like plastic in it.
I said that on another
It used to have
podcast,
plastic bags and stuff in it, like, and
to make the brick weight
a little bit. But how much is your plastic? You know what I mean? This plastic, you know what I mean? They're saving like a gram or something like that out of 9 ounces, you know. It's mad.
Aerosol can on the leafs and then the
yeah, you can do it like that as well. Or you got a tumbler. I've got this little tumbler machine. I ain't done these things for years, but you've got a little tumbler machine. I'll tell you what it is.
What's that, bubble hash? Is that with the ice?
No. So this is like, imagine your washing machine or your tumble dryer at home, right? And you're flinging your leaf or your buds in there, turn it on, and it spins, right? And it's spinning in like a net, like a woman's fine tights, right? And it's spinning. And as it spins, the longer you leave it on, the more you get. The pollen falls out at the bottom, right? So then when you take out the drum, like the washing machine drum, and look underneath there, you've got all of that. And you take that and press it. You know, and then you got ash, you know, or you got the bubble hash. That's nice and soft. The bubble hash used to come out soft.
What's the process for the bubble hash?
So we used to call it bubble bag hash. You buy these bags. I remember I bought these bags.
Okay, and you can do the different sieves and how.
Listen, £100 for 3 plastic bags, yeah, and in the bottom of the plastic bags is like a mesh. So you put the cannabis material in the top one, and you get a bucket full of ice. Because what happens is, the cold freezes the cannabis crystals and they fall off, right? This is how you can do the butane hash. We're going to that in a second. But so you got these bags, you put the cannabis material in the top bag, and that's got like a mesh on the bottom. And then underneath that, there's a bag with a finer mesh. And then underneath that, there's a bag with a fine mesh. And you used to get a blender, like a food blender, and stand there for ages. Like, and people used to have big ones, though. You know, they get like a drill. A drill, right. And you're beating the cannabis material, and you're beating it, and it's cold. So it's cold, so it falls off, and you're beating it so it falls off, and it falls through the mesh. And you take out the top bag. What falls into the first bag is one grade, and what falls into the second bag is another grade of cannabis.
Okay, cool. So the lower you go, the finer.
Yeah. And you leave it to dry out, and you scoop it and scrape it up, and that always stayed soft. That kind of hash. And then I used to make, but it weren't hash that I used to make with the butane.
Okay, is that what you just said? That process there is that more of an organic process?
Yeah,
because there's people making solventless because we don't want solvent in our products.
Of course not. So I've made, and it weren't ash, it was shatter. Right, I used to make shatter out of cannabis material, leaves or buds. If you're rich, you use buds, and if you're poor, you use the little fine leaves. And you know what we used to do? So what somebody advised us to do was go to a plumbing shop, buy a piece of pipe, right, that you can screw on one end and screw on the other end. You make a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom. You fill it with your cannabis material, and you go and buy some bottles of lighter gas from the off license, right? And you hold on that lighter gas onto the top of that. But I didn't do that, because I'm not going to the plumbing shop to buy it. I went and got a Coca-Cola bottle and took a hole in the lid of the Coca-Cola, fling out the Coke, put a hole in the lid of the Coca-Cola bottle and a hole in the bottom like that. Fill it up with cannabis material and get the butane. Oh, I'll tell you a story about this actually. Get the butane like that.
Touching the material?
It's going all the way through all of that, all of that, and use about 4 cans, right? Use about 4 cans.
You're fucking high on the butane, bruv.
Mate, it's dangerous because that's highly flammable, right? So when I used to do it, I would do it in my house where I had an electric cooker, because what happens is after you do that, you're left with a pan or a glass Pyrex, like a Pyrex glass bowl of butane liquid, lighter gas, but underneath that lighter gas on the bottom of the glass is cannabis.
Oh, Lord.
Light gold, beautiful. Oh,
this has been contaminated with all that stuff.
Fully contaminated. Gold like that beer there, right? So you put it you put a pan of water on the stove, and you put that Pyrex dish inside the pan of water. You don't want no water to get in there, and just leave it to bubble. And what that does is it evaporates the butane, right? It evaporates the butane, the heat. But you leave it, the longer you leave it, do it slowly. And then once all the butane's disappeared, you're left with something thick on the bottom of this glass bowl. And if it's light gold, it's nice. And if it's dark brown, it means it's got chlorophyll. It's got chlorophyll, that's what it is. Chlorophyll in it, which is like leaf contamination into it. But it's still nice, it's strong, you know. I used to smoke it. You know, I didn't care. You know, I used to sell it, I used to smoke it. Sometimes I look at it and go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have smoked that, you know. But I used to smoke that. You know?
So do you know the new process that guys are doing? Where they just press it and it drops down and it's just rosin, it's crystallized.
But how do they get the crystals off of the cannabis product?
I think they're just pressing it hard in between two other greaseproof papers. And
you could do that with the hair straighteners. You can get your girls' hair straighteners with the but now they got the industrial kind of vibe. Yeah.
It's cleaner. There's another process called static.
Okay.
So think about static like electric.
Yeah.
It's pulling the particles and you're getting the trichromes coming off it. And you're
technology, mate.
That's what I was going to ask.
Imagine I went from fucking that.
You go for
and all of that, dying of fucking butane poisoning.
Well, that's why I got the puff code, because the puff code now you got the rosin and you got the melts, and it's the most purest way to smoke.
I'll tell you what, right?
It's called dabbing.
Dabs. I had one. Hey, listen, I'll tell you about it in a minute. So I used to do this thing with this butane, right? And I used to live by this girl, and I went to do it in her house once. But she didn't have an electric cooker. She had a gas cooker. So I put this thing on the flipping gas and light the cooker, and with time I'm talking to the girl like that. Then she just screamed, like that, yeah? And I look, the thing's on fire, and the fire's on the ceiling. The fire's on the ceiling. So, you know what, I've always considered myself a coward, but this I know I'm not a coward. I tell you this, that thing was on fire to the ceiling, and I put my hands on it, and it burnt my hands, and the fire went up my arm and up my face. Why did you do that?
Why?
Because I wanted to get it out of her kitchen, because I didn't want a kitchen. Yeah, I did. I took it. Listen, I picked this thing up, come out of the kitchen, the fire's gone up my arm, on my face, all my eyebrows are gone, my nose hairs, which was a bonus, is gone. Yeah, half my moustache is gone, and I'm out of her front door, and I fling this thing on the floor, and I fell on, I was so on fire that I jumped on my front and rolled around on this girl's floor like that. But I was all right. It hurt a bit. It weren't, you know what I mean? It weren't, I only had one eyebrow, and it mashed me up a little bit, but it weren't that bad, because you know when you do things with lighter fluid and all of that when you were young, you could light it and it didn't really hurt. Like, it don't really hurt, you know. But I'm nearly mashed up her yard, all the ceiling was black and all of that, you know. But anyway, listen, wait, we skip forward. Let's go back, right? So back in Hounslow, because like I said, Hounslow used to be a quiet place. People don't believe this, yeah, but I tell you this, late 80s, early 90s, it was really racist. We used to say there weren't no black people in Hounslow.
Spot the black.
And black people used to control the weed back in the day. White people didn't really have weed, they had hash. And in Hounslow, they only had about 4 dealers. And out of the 4 dealers, 3 of them sold hash and 1 of them sold weed. And if you went and saw that white guy to go and get some weed, you were getting the bush. There's no bud. It's like whoever grew that just grew leaves with some little pinch, tiny, and they pressed it and it was just bush and it was terrible.
What did you do for grade back then?
Right, so this is what we used to do. And it's a funny story, I'm going to tell you. So, you know, I used to listen to drum and bass music back then. Now I listen to reggae music. And it just so turns out that I was buying weed from one of my favourite reggae artists. But at the time, I used to listen to drum and bass. So I didn't know this guy from Adam. I didn't know. And he died of leukemia. So it's only after he died and I started listening to reggae and you put whatever together and you go, no, but that was Prince Lincoln. He used to have a fish shop on West Green Road in Tottenham. Right? I'm probably out in my, but you know, he's gone. You know what? Rest in peace. My favourite reggae artist now. And all the time I was seeing him, but I used to listen to drum and bass.
Was he a UK reggae artist or was he a yard?
So he's from Jamaica. Okay. He's from Jamaica. You talk to him, he's got a Jamaican accent, but I think he moved over here in the 70s, probably, if I had to guess. But anyway, this is what we used to do. We used to get the train from Hounslow to Finsbury Park and go to Tottenham and go and see a Polish lady, and anyone from Tottenham will know the lady. I'm not going to name her name.
No, we don't do that.
Right? Long dreadlocks, white Polish lady, one of the first Polish immigrant, because there's millions of Polish here now. One of the first Polish people over
In the
here.
80s.
In the early 90s it was. In the early 90s. We used to get the train and go there. And I'll go all the way to Tottenham to buy an ounce. I'll go all the way to Tottenham to buy half an ounce. But you used to get an ounce for about £70. You could get an ounce for £70.
Or cess?
No.
Okay.
That was mersh. But it was nice. It was nice. So bear in mind, there's no skunk.
For the viewers, what is mersh?
Right. So, back then there was no skunk. Let's call it skunk. Right? Let's just call it skunk, right? There was no skunk.
No
right?
skunk existed at this time,
No,
guys. Yeah?
this is Jamaican weed I'm talking about, right? Okay. But they call it Jamaican weed, but it used to come from Thailand, it used to come from South Africa, it used to come from Jamaica, St. Vincent, Trinidad. You know, anywhere there was black people mainly used to get, you know, this is what the weed was, right? And then man were bringing it in suitcases and stuff like that. I mean, there was containers and things like that coming over, but none of these people, especially the higher grade, because, you know, it's not worth bringing over a load of mersh to sell for £70 an ounce, yeah, and risk that in your suitcase. But man will bring over something that they can sell for £150 an ounce.
What's that, cess?
Yes, that was cess. Yes, that was the cess, the sensi, and
red beer tie?
Huh?
Red beer tie or red?
Red string, gold string, and green string. These were the things from Thailand, right? It was all right. The thing with the Thai weed was it was more like a novelty. I don't think, you know, it was nice, but it was the novelty that this thing was tied up like that with a string and all of that, and that used to make people feel excited, you know. But I used to go all the way to Tottenham to go and spend £70 on an ounce. Let me tell you this, from Hounslow to Tottenham's about 27 stops. So that's 27 stops there, ish. And 27
for an ounce.
For an ounce, because you couldn't buy weed round there like that. Probably if I knew some people, do you know what it is? It's just who I knew. So if I knew some people in Ladbroke Grove,
you can get it from there.
I would have got it from there.
Brixton?
But I didn't know no one. Brixton, I didn't know no one round there. I knew somebody in Tottenham. So, and this is what it was. See, because nowadays, you could just go out on the street and go, weed, like that. And 50 people all there all want to sell you all of their weed. But back then, there was nobody. It was hashish, and I don't like hashish. So I used to go there and spend £70 on an ounce and then bag it up and sell it in little bags. Eventually, we got to like, you know, half kilos and stuff like that, and kilos. And we used to just get on the train with it. We didn't give off monkeys, mate. We didn't care. We used to get on the train. It stank. It stank. And we used to get on the train with it. We used to smoke weed on the train. We didn't care. We'd have a kick. How irresponsible and stupid. But, you know, we could get away with murder. You could get away with murder back then. You know. But so anyway, let's talk about the grades. So you go to Tottenham. Mm-hmm. If you want to spend £70, you're going to get something called commercial. The reason it's called commercial is because every Tom, Dick and Harry's got it. It's commercialised. It's commercial. It's like Tesco. So everybody's got that.
Mersh is short for commercial.
Yes, right. And it was nice though. Mersh was good.
Loads of seeds in it? Loads of seeds and twigs?
There were seeds and twigs. There weren't loads. The loads of seeds and twigs is what you got from Gary in Hounslow. And his name was Gary, actually, funny enough. Gary in Hounslow, he'll sell you that bushweed, and you open a bag like that, and it was like a noise like that, and that was all the seeds falling out on the table.
History, people,
right?
Listen.
All the seeds used to fall out.
And you're trying to scoop just to get the butter.
Yeah. But that's why I didn't go to see Gary. He used to go all the way to Tottenham, you know. And it was compressed, you know. It was like it used to come in a thing like this. Okay. Yeah, that would be about half a kilo, right? That, yeah, right, like that. That was about half a kilo, and seriously compressed. I used to have a job in a bread factory, and I teethed a knife from the bread factory, and we used to use the knife, the sharpest knife in the world, I'm telling you.
To cut the thing.
To cut the thing, but even then there'd be two of you. Yeah, one of you's on the handle of the knife, and the other one's on the top of the blade of the knife.
I always ask myself,
the reason they compressed it is because they're trying to import it. So the smaller it is, the more you can bring.
Okay, get it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I thought it was a process that they were doing to make it like ferments and stuff.
But the thing is, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it does make it slightly stronger compressing it. I think so. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. People can Google all that.
Like I told you, they press it now and all these things dripping out.
There you go, right? Okay, so I think the press maybe made it a bit strong, but it really was for concealment. It was to make it smaller, you know, and they used to bring it over like that. So you could buy the ounce for £70.
Or 150.
And even in between you could get like £100 tea. But you know, there were times, you know, and the thing is, these people were old people from Jamaica, so a lot of them wouldn't talk to you on the phone, so you didn't know what you was gonna get.
Pause. No mobile phones were there though.
So it was the beginning. It was the beginning. So it weren't the beginning. So I tell you what, there were people in the 80s that used to have big mobile phones. Some of them had a suitcase and all of that, like literally a suitcase, like a briefcase, and the phones on top of the briefcase and all of that. But those people were people from Canary Wharf and business people. When the mobile phone came out to the masses, that was in the early 90s. I remember I was one of the first guys in my school. My mum spoiled me. I was the only child, and she just went and got me the latest Mercury 120. It was an M150. Yeah, I used to get the M400 as well. And that was all before the banana phone and all that. Matrix, and all that. Yeah, that was way before that, you know. So, but a lot of these old Jamaican people, they didn't have mobile phones, and they wouldn't talk to you on the phone. It was pure landline talk, and they wouldn't talk to you on the phone. So imagine you're coming for 27 stops, and you're not sure what you're going to get when you go there.
Who's even there?
But no, you call them, they go, I'm here. They go, listen, what, I'm coming. They go, yeah, come. Oh, I'm coming. And you try and talk to them, they won't really talk to you, you know. So what? Like, what is it now, man? Just come. No, but what is it now? Just come. And they're big man. You shut your mouth and go, all right, then I'm going. You go there 27 stops, and when you get there, and you've got £70, but they've and the first time it happened to me, I thought these people were taking the mick. I went up there I had £100. I went up there with the £100, and they're like, the ounce is £100. And I don't know, but I'll come for the £70 ounce. And they go, no, we ain't got none of that. No, I'll just come 27 stops.
That's Jamaicans for you.
There you go, right? 27 stops, you know. But then, yeah, you could get the higher grade. Let me tell you some stories about some of these things, right? So we go all the way to Tottenham, go and see this Polish woman, lovely woman, big influence on my life, you know. One of the reasons I've got dreadlocks is because of her. Yeah, man. Her and another guy called Lynch, R.I.P. Lynch, man. I wanted to be Lynch, you know. I really did. When I was 13, 14, I looked at that guy like he was like Shaft.
Let me
He was like Shaft.
So, was you coming into the space of Rastafarian then? Was that so the weed and the music, and that was the space that you was coming into? Okay,
but we still listen to drum and bass. And when we're going to the music talk, because I'm going to go to the music talk, the music took me all over the world. And what it meant was I get to smoke weed from all over the world. But when I was doing the music thing, I'm going all over the world. Barcelona weren't Barcelona like that. It weren't like that. There weren't nowhere in Europe other than Amsterdam where you could just fully, really sort of go and buy a bag of weed in a shop or anything like that. When I was going over them places,
Barca, no Tenerife.
No, none of that. Only Amsterdam. And the funny thing is, the music never took us to Amsterdam. Actually, coincidentally, it's mad. Took us Switzerland and Belgium, and in Switzerland it was decriminalised. So you go out in Switzerland and you'll find the quality of it was skunk by now. This is like 2005-ish.
Okay, we'll come back to when the skunk came in.
Yeah, you know. But anyway, let's done on that weed thing and we'll move up now. So, cess. So, you know, you're getting commercial for £70 an ounce, £70 an ounce, £70, and then once in a while you get £150 an ounce of cess or sensi. And I remember sitting in my bedroom with this guy, his brother. There's about 5 or 6 of us.
I'm a witness to this.
And we smoked that sensi.
And we went to sleep.
I woke up 5 hours later and looked around my bedroom, and everyone's dribbling on their t-shirt. One of them's on the floor. Everyone was gone.
I asked myself, did them man lace it with bloody fentanyl? But yes. I don't understand. Every man was gone.
I don't even think fentanyl was a thing back then, you know. I swear down. I'll tell you when I think I did get laced though, right? So that was, you know, the cess and the sensi. But we got something one time called Colombian Gold, and I can't remember who we got it from, but it was a light brown colour, this weed, and it was very dusty. Right? And it's only as you get older when you look back on these things, you go, was there heroin in that? I don't know, you know, because I smoked that with a few of my friends again. Everyone in the room, gone. And the buzz was slightly different. It was a bit more peaceful and calm feeling, you know. You felt kind of mellow, a lot more mellow, you know. And it's called Colombian Gold, they were calling it. But it weren't. And the thing with those things as well is see, any of them things, it was never around for long. You go and get an ounce of cess. If you go back next week, it's a different strain. Okay. And then you go back next week, it's a different strain. And then you go back next week, it's a different strain. You never knew. It was like a flipping lottery. You go, and you just never knew what you were going to get. Sometimes you get a phone call going, oh, listen, I've got the boom tick, you know what I mean? You'll go and get it. but it was like a lottery. Whereas nowadays, if somebody's got flipping blue murder, or whatever it's called, right?
Everyone's got it.
And he'll have blue murder. And you can go back in 3 months and he's still got blue murder. And you can go back in 6 months and he's still got blue murder. Okay. But back then, it was like that would last a month, max. And then you're going back again, and then it's a different grade, and then it's a different grade, and then it's a different grade, and then it's a different grade.
Do you remember the time when everybody, all the Rastamans were telling us not to smoke skunk?
I remember that. They used to say it would send you mad.
And they used to say that also that it's engineered,
chemicals, all of that.
Government base.
And the worst thing is they were wrong, because I ended up growing some cannabis, and you get to find out that the chemicals they were talking about is just fertilizer. It's a plant food. It's just plant food.
So it's organic.
Well, some of it you choose. Yeah, you can choose. You know, you get Because was always organic, and Canna, whatever it was, I can't remember the name of it, but Canna something, I'm not sure I don't think it was organic, but Because was always organic.
When cropping, what do you find is better? Synthetic foods or organic?
So this is what I used to do. And you know what, people criticised me for it, and they were saying, Pete, you should. I was like, forget that organic thing. I'm not trying to.
But you're a Rasta man. You want to be more organic to the earth, don't you?
I just wanted to make some money.
Okay.
I just wanted to make some money.
You could be transparent.
Yeah, I just wanted to make some money.
So what does
and I knew,
do that?
and this is what I told myself. Listen,
go on.
I'm putting carcinogenic material into my lungs.
Anyway,
I'm burning paper, and I'm burning plant matter, tobacco and plant matter, and it's going in my lungs. What difference does it make if what do I want organic food for? You know, like what?
Right, cool.
You know, like
ethos. All right, cool.
You know, but no, you are right. Because I didn't have any morals back then, though. I didn't have no moral. My thing was like, I just want to make some money. What can give me the biggest buds? All right, give me that thing. Or pour, if they told me pour arsenic in it, right, I'll pour arsenic in it. I would have. I swear to God, I had no morals. Yeah, man. I had no morals. Dread, blood, I swear.
Does synthetic always give you a bigger yield?
Nah, probably not. I just felt that way. I just thought, well, it's got to be better, because this is being made in a lab. So these people have put their effort into it, where the other ones made it like banana peel and seagull shit, and fucking and they're going, look, that'll make your buzz bigger, you know. So like that, I said, no, I'm going for the chemical one, mate. Because if I'm smoking, and I'd smoke it myself. It weren't like I'd, you know what I mean, just giving it to people. I'll smoke it, you know. And if I fucking smoke it, they can smoke it.
Okay,
you know?
What was the skunk strains that they're there? Because we've gone past the commercial.
Yeah, so we've gone past the commercial.
Was it Jack Herrera or what was?
Nah, this is way back.
Go talk me. What was the strains that was?
So imagine this. A guy turned up one day and he said, look, I've got this thing called skunk. And I looked at it, and to be honest with you, now that I've grown it, and I've taken a seed out of a bag of mersh and grown that. And they both look the same.
I thought so.
They both look the same, but one of them tastes, and the other one tastes like, And we'd never had that skunk taste before. Never had that skunk taste before. So imagine you be smoking this merch. It's got leaves, twigs, seeds, Abdul flip-flop, everything inside it, dust, beard, hair, everything.
Was it skunky weed or was it skunk?
No, it was skunk, right?
Was it called skunk number one?
Skunk number one. I think it was. We could never, you know, because there was no name. But going from my knowledge over the growing years, and if I look back on it, it was Northern Lights.
Ah, so it's a hate.
Northern Lights sativa, or skunk number one. Yeah.
Was there like a categorise of sativa and indica?
Not back then. You just got skunk, and it didn't have no name. It was just skunk. It was just skunk, but it was amazing. It was like, what the fuck? This is
What was the difference of the buzz between the commercial and the skunk back then? If you can remember back
So the skunk, they didn't compress that because that was grown in England or grown in Amsterdam, and they didn't have to go to so much trouble to try and conceal it when they were bringing it over, because you bring it over from over there like that, you know. And Amsterdam's very lax. I spent some time incarcerated with a guy, and you know, I'm not going to tell you his name, but I Googled his name afterwards, and everything he told me he was in for was correct. And he was in for smuggling things from Morocco, large amounts of cannabis over from Morocco back in the day. And he told me, because Amsterdam is lax. The police they didn't care. This is why all of the cannabis that comes through Spain now as well, but all of the cannabis that used to come from England, generally, if it was like containerized, not in someone's suitcase, you know, and it was brought over like that, it used to come through Amsterdam because it was just like the police were lapsed. They just didn't really care. Like you could have 30 ounces in the boot of your car, 100 ounces in the boot of your car, but the police catch you with whatever it is and they arrest you for that. You're going into jail for that and then come out and get back in your car and drive off with how much ounces. They didn't care. They didn't care in Amsterdam. So it all used to come from Amsterdam. And because it was so lax, them lot didn't bother compressing all of that skunk. So you just get like a proper bud.
And that's when you start to, no seeds?
No seeds. No buds, because the thing is, when they lot were growing it out in the field in Jamaica, where you get seeds from is from the male and the female fertilizing. So the wind blows, one little foot of wind like that, and the male pollen scatters all over the sticky female buds, and those female buds just go to seed.
So let me just ask you a question. Do you prefer indoor grows or outdoor grows? Because I know the indoor grow you can contain is less variables, you can control the variables. The outdoors, what you just said, cross-contamination with the male plant, pesticides. All of that. But what is the better smoke, from your opinion? Remember guys, it's my and Dred's opinion. We're not the gold standard.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm just telling you. Talk to me. Yeah. So in Jamaica, look, them man would have fields and fields, right? So they would go and try and pluck out all the male plants, but you're never going to, because there's hundreds of thousands of plants, right? But when they're growing it outdoors in places like Amsterdam and stuff like that, everything in that field's a female. There's no males. They didn't just get the seeds out of the bottom of a bag of whatever they sold. These seeds, they got them from a shop. Yeah, they're feminized. So the outdoor, the commercially grown outdoor is fine. But if you're just Tom, Dick or Harry growing the outdoor, and I've smoked outdoor things from England and it tasted like a pond, sort of. It had an outdoor, a wet, the rain rained on it, the sun shone on it, the rain rained on it, the dog pissed on it, the birds, pigeon flew over it and shit on it. It had everything, whatever is outdoors was all over the outside of that skunk, right? So the indoor one was better, right? So there was skunk number one, Northern Lights. These were the beginnings, right? Okay,
so we're doing LEDs now, yeah? That's what the bulbs are. What were the bulbs back then? Was it blue and red spectrum?
Is it HID? High emitting diode, I can't remember. HID or HUD, they were called. And these bulbs, if you're growing the things bright like these bulbs here that are shining in my eyes, and I tell you this, if you lean your shoulder on one of those buds like that, you've got to go to the hospital because you've got 5-degree burns. And you've got to go to the hospital. The lights were so hot, so people spent a lot of time trying to cool it, and they was doing all of these things, and too much heat.
Were there carbon filters back then?
Yeah, there were carbon filters, yeah, there was carbon filters. But, people spent a lot of their time trying to regulate heat. Whereas with the LEDs,
is heat one of the worst variables for a plant?
Yeah, because too hot and it gets stressed, too cold and it gets stressed. They like their thing. I can't remember the exact temperature, but they like their thing between that degrees and that degrees. And if you fuck with them, you're not going to get the best out of it. Your yield's going to be less, the quality is going to be less,
mold
and all of that. If it got cold, mold. I used to do things in people's lofts, and it would get cold at night. And, we were just cowboys, man. Like, we were just ghetto, I didn't really know, I was sort of making it up as I go along. And it get cold in these people's, I tell you what, I've done a thing in a woman's, listen, I used to go around finding people, going, listen, let me grow some cannabis in your house. Right? And they would go out there, Peter, and we used to split, I'll go, listen, we split it 50-50, yeah? Oh, man.
Wait, the big numbers, and they come.
It weren't even like, I'll tell you what I've done to this woman. This woman's gone, listen, you can have this whole room, right? And her walls were the same colour of these walls, like cream, kind of nice, clean walls like that, yeah. And it got mouldy in there because we couldn't open the window. There was nowhere for the moisture, the humidity to go. They have the humidifier and all of that. We was trying a thing. And the woman's yard, you know what I've done? I'll tell you what I had to do. A whole house just mould all over her wall. She probably had to she couldn't even get that repainted. She probably had to get builders around to come round and like replaster it and all that. I mashed up that woman's yard. And you know, I'll tell you what I've done. I went in there one day and I was like, I see all the mould like that. And I was like, listen, don't worry, this is what we're going to do. And I cut down my half and went, listen, you can cut down. And I never went back to that woman's house again. I felt so bad, mate. I felt so bad. Spent a lot of time messing around with humidity and things like that. And the thing is, there weren't the internet back then either. There weren't no internet. So it was like, if you wanted to know something, you got to go and get a book, and all of that. I didn't go and get no book. I was just, and it was like 50-50.
So you winged it.
Some of them come out brilliant. I had some things that put big man to sleep. I grew Northern Lights once that done everyone, it done them. It used to call me Farmer Pete, it done them. And then I've grown, you know, things that are supposed to be great, sour tangy or whatever, and it was just like, yeah, it's all right, you know.
The conditions, or you
the conditions, my laziness as well. You know, I just didn't really care, you know. I mean, I feel like, you know, I'm always told by my missus I am immature and irresponsible, and I was like that in most of the things.
So.
Well, I don't know. I was like that in most of the things I done. You know, I was. You know, if I'd taken a lot of these things seriously, I've had a good time, because obviously, you know, I think I might be a bit more.
Had a good run.
I've
been like that.
Yeah, exactly. I've had some great times. So, see this T-shirt I'm wearing here? This, we went to Japan in 2013, something like that. Yeah.
Weed in Japan.
Yes, I'm going to tell you about the weed in Japan. 2013, we went to Japan. So we started doing this music thing, right? We used to go to a little club.
Sorry, Jed. What type of music was you doing?
Right.
Let the people them know.
Yes. So we used to listen to drum and bass and all of that, and jungle and all of that. And I went and spent a year in Barbados. And the year in Barbados, I got into reggae. And I listened to reggae, and I come back with all these reggae tapes. And I come back and see all my drum and bass friends, and I was like, look, this is the new thing now. We are now listening, because I was always a few years older than everyone else. Yeah. And the few years, if you're 19 and someone's 17, there's a difference. Your influence is a bit more.
He's come back on the Ras thing, and we're drum and bass MCs.
Yes.
We're still spitting.
Yeah, we do that drum and bass. Right. And this is before skunk. All of that Stevie Hyper D, Skibbity, and all of them things. They still weren't skunk, and it was just weed, you know. And we started. Listen, I'll tell you what I used to do, because I spent that year in Barbados. I used to go to Barbados once a year, and I remember taking Bob Marley posters. Right, you go to Shepherd's Bush Market, buy a Bob Marley poster for £1, right, and go to Barbados, and they didn't have all these things like that out there. Yeah, you could get them, but they were expensive out there, these posters. And I remember swapping a Bob Marley poster for £1 for a quarter of their weed. And I used to take all the seeds and twigs out and give them posters, and I'll get about 2 ounces or 3 ounces from these posters. Yeah, like 10 posters, you got 3 ounces or something. And I'd press it myself, I got cling film, I'd press it down, and every time I used to come back from Barbados, I used to put some weed down my trousers. And I'd come back with 3 ounces down my trousers, walking funny through Gatwick. But I got to realise that at Gatwick Airport at 6 in the morning, the flight from Barbados is the least flight they're checking. They're checking the Jamaican flight, and they're checking the Colombian flight, and they're checking flights like that. The flight from Barbados is pure white people and tourists. And I used to come back with ounces and ounces of weed and all of that. But anyway, I come back on the Ras thing and a reggae thing. And we started going to this little club in Finsbury Park again, actually. Club called Orleans, all right? I think it's on Seven Sisters Road, actually. It's near the Arsenal Stadium. And we started going in there, and we were listening to music, and we were collecting records. And one day we said to the guy that was promoting, we said, listen, we want to come and play some records in your club. And he goes, all right, then go on then. And we come and play some records, and I'm telling you, we used to go in that club in the beginning, and there was 25 people in there, but the place is tiny. It's not much bigger than this room, actually, right? Tiny little club, basement thing. There's 25 people in there. By the time we got up and running in that club, it was wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, people.
The music you were playing.
The music we were playing, and our youthfulness and our age, because a lot of the people that were playing that music were kind of old. They're in their sort of 40s and stuff like that, and we're in our early 20s, you know. So we were like young, and we have vitality, you know, and all of that, you know, right? Anyway, that there as well, that same club there, I started growing something called Jack Herer, right? Hydroponically, because I used to do pots before.
There you go. Talk to me about this hydroponic thing back then.
Yes, so hydroponic, it's a tray. It's a tray with something called spreader mat on it, right? This is what it was anyway, right? Spreader mat. And spreader mat was like tissue almost, right? It's tissue that you could never break. Imagine like baby wipes, that kind of material, right? Okay. And you put layers of these baby wipes on top of a tray. Now this tray's got a little slit at one end, and the tray's slanted, right?
Okay.
All right. You put your weed plant in a cube. What was the cube? A fiberglass, right? Put your weed plant in a fiberglass cube. The cube sit down on top of this like baby wipes material, right? This spreader mat, and you got a tank, right? That's a big bath. You put the tray on top of the bath. You put a pump inside the bath. And the pump runs water, and where the tray slanted, the water comes up and it just runs down like that, trickles. And it runs down like that, and right, you have it coming on, and it just goes round and round, and you have it come on every 15 minutes or something like that, and then go off for half hour, and then come on for 15 minutes and go off for half hour. And the good thing about that hydro thing is you could pretty much leave it. The reason you didn't leave it is because if something went wrong, you could flood the place, you know. But I mean, that never.
What is better? What would you say is better in your eyes?
The hydroponic was better because it was just water. So there was no taste infiltrating anything. All you got was the pure taste of the cannabis and water, but water don't taste like nothing. So you just got that pure cannabis taste. But with soil, I mean, you flush it and you flush it and you flush it. But I mean, it's been sitting in mud for 3 months. You know, I mean,
they've got this thing called live soil. They've got the microbial things are in the soil.
Yeah,
living organisms in the soil helping the plant to grow.
Yeah,
they've got what did they say they put in there? Worm casings.
Yeah.
There's loads of things. Yeah. But I heard this is good because it's more natural.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But you think the hydroponic is more cleaner?
It tasted better and the yield was better. I found the yield was better because back in the day, the soil, there was many things in soil and there was many things that could go sort of not wrong in the soil, but you know, there was more variables to the soil. Okay, pests, anything, you know, it could be too damp, it's not hot enough in there, the humidity is too high, whatever, and it will affect the soil. And the thing is, what happens underneath the plant was just as in that is what affects what happens on top of the plant.
The root system.
Yes. So if your roots are in mud and any little whatever, you know what I mean? Because like I said, we weren't professional. I was just a cowboy, you know. So when you're doing the hydro thing, there was a lot less that could go wrong. I mean, what can go wrong with some water? Water with nutrients just going round and round and round and round and round. Nah.
You still pH and everything?
Yeah. But the thing is, you'd have to you used to have a truncheon, a thing called a truncheon, and you come and dip that in the bath. Like that, and it tells you the nutrient level in the bath. And if it was too low, you'd add some, and if it was too high,
it tell you exactly.
And you know, and let's say between 1 and 100, and you need to have it on 50. It weren't 50. I think it was like 20 something. But you know, and you could adjust it. So if the nutrient level was too high for some reason, you could just add some water, drip some acid, some pH up or some pH down in the water.
And test it again.
Test it again, right? And you do all of that, you know. And I got the best yields from hydroponics and the best taste. Yeah, the Jack Herer. And I used to take the Jack Herer. The reason I mentioned that is because I used to take that Jack Herer to that club there. I'm telling you, you know what I used to do? I used to go in that club and play music, but I would go there and just give away buds. Right, I'll give away buds, right? I'm giving away buds, and like, do you know, it's sad, but like a lot of those guys there, they were kind of on some hard times. That red light flashing, that means something, right? There was on some. Right, cool. Like they weren't flashing before. Right, cool. Them man was kind of down on their luck. Them man are like 50 and things like that, and there's me in my early 20s going, mate, and they would all, they'd see me coming down the stairs, and everyone was just there with their hands up. But this was all a ploy. This wasn't me being generous, because I said next week when I come back, you're gonna pay for that. Let me tell you this. I used to go in the loft and cut off a bud 3 days, because the thing's not ready yet. And I used to cut off a bud 3 or 4 days before I go to that club. It was every Tuesday, that club. I used to cut off a bud 3 or 4 days before that and just do my best to dry that. You'd never put it on a radiator because that would be too quick.
So you're speed drying?
Anywhere warm. You know, warm.
Airing cupboard.
Airing cupboard. No, that's too much because you're fucking it. Because you do the air dry thing and it's just disgusting.
So you're not onto the oscillating fan, leaving it for 7 to 8 days. You don't even let it cure. You're just taking it off and drying it.
Straight up, yeah, right. Mate, some of them things there, I used to go and sell those people, and it was so moist that they struggled to smoke it. You know, but the reason they didn't come and complain is because they wanted next week that when I come back and I'm giving things away, I'm going to give some to them. So I used to make a killing in that club, you know that. I used to make a kill on that Jack Herer, and Jack Herer, the yield was wham. That was the first proper sativa style thing that, you know what I mean? That was...
So when did the indica thing come in? When did they start categorizing an indica strain to a sativa strain?
As far as I know, that was around them when I started doing that Jack Herer thing. I'm trying to think of the timeline.
So it's Kush, yeah? Kush is an indica, yeah? And Kush and Pain's been there for a long time.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. So the Jack Herer was very sativa-y. It had a sativa-y taste. I'm trying to think of the year. So this was... 2004 probably.
Oh wow, that's
something like that. That's like 21 years ago.
Was it like 12 weeks flowering? Or was it?
Yeah. Jack Herer was long. 12 weeks flowering, and this is why I didn't really mess with round things like that. You do the indica, it's done in 8 weeks, you know, and you're nice. But the Jack Herer, but it was worth it for the yield. This is why a lot of people used to go amnesia as well. I don't know if they still do, but they used to go amnesia because amnesia, it used to take fucking 12 weeks to flower, just flower. Not the veg stage. The flowering stage used to just take 12 weeks. So you're vegging it for 8 weeks, and not only that, the longer you're messing around, the more chance there is that the police are going to kick your door off. You know what I mean? So you just wanted something quick, But I've done that Jack Hero, and what it was, I had a man who used to give me cuttings, and when I used to do the things from the cuttings, the yield was beautiful, you know. But when I'm going and buying cuttings, you grow a mother plant. So you grow a plant and you call it mum. Right, you grow a plant and you call it mum. The age of your cutting is exactly the same age as its mum. Right, so if your mum's 8 weeks old, your cutting is going to be 8 weeks old. If your mum's 1 year old, your cutting comes 1 year old.
So you're going to keep the mother's plants in vegetation for its whole life?
Its whole life. You could never flower that, you know, and take cuttings from it. So it's just veggies. And so, do you know what? I used to make a business out of that as well. I remember selling hundreds of cuttings to people. I used to sell hundreds and hundreds. It was £10 a cutting. You used to sell a cutting for £10, and you sell 300 cuttings. Oh Lord! Nice, man.
Back in them days, yeah.
There was more money to be made from selling cuttings than there was from selling cannabis. There was £10 a cutting. Imagine that. People want 100 cuttings. He wants 100. He wants 100. He wants 300. He wants 50. You know, and you go, all right, then cool, no problem. Give me X amount of weeks. You know, you go, give me 5 weeks.
And you couldn't do your mother plant and just do your thing.
There you go. No, because you'd have your mother plant.
Already.
Because if you try and rush into that mother plant thing, like I said, your mother plant's only 4 weeks old. The cuttings are only 4 weeks old. And from a 4-week-old cutting, you're not really getting what you're supposed to get. If your mum's a year old, you're getting proper, like the big boy things, you know?
Is there a way to take the cuttings off without killing the plant?
Yeah, that's what you do. So yeah, so I love he asked the right questions, because I wouldn't have, you know what I mean, come to these, but yeah. So you take the cuttings off of the plant lives. If anything, it benefits the plant, because you take a cutting from there like that, boom, like that, and then from there, one grows there and one grows there.
You would get
so
heads.
I've doubled. So you do that, sometimes you get 4 heads, you know, and you get 5 heads, and next thing you know, the plant looks like an oak tree. Just pure heads everywhere, you know, and just people call you for cuttings, cuttings into the little fiberglass cubes. Keep that. Some of them, you could sell them the cuttings before they rooted. And the rooting used to take about 4 weeks or something like that. So you could, some people are like, listen, bring me them cuttings now. No roots. No guarantee. Right? You give them.
Take the risk to that.
Yeah. You give them cuttings. Do they root? Don't they? Half of them root, because them lot have not done it. You know what I mean? They're not taking care of them properly.
So do you still put the cuttings in the propagator? Or
Yeah, in the propagator.
So
in the
even if
propagator.
you pop a pebble and crack one,
Yeah.
it's still the same process, but you just done it from the plant.
Yeah, we done it from the plant, you know. And but you know, the smart people want their cuttings rooted. They want their cuttings rooted, because them things are firm, you know. That's like a teenager that's been taught something by its dad, and it can stand firm in life a little bit. Whereas them other ones are like infants, you know. They don't know. They still got diapers on. They don't know nothing. They can't even flipping walk or talk. You know what I mean? So, but some people just buy cuttings like that. They buy them for, you know, £5 no roots, £10 with roots. You know, and there was more money to be made selling cuttings than there was from actually selling cannabis back then. You know.
So we're at Jack Hero.
We're at Jack Hero, yeah. We're at Jack Hero.
What comes after Jack Hero in
my
your
memory?
time?
So then you go on to cheese, Exodus cheese. These guys is an expert on that, you know.
Yeah, that's a Luton thing. That's the manner.
Exactly, right.
I was looking at this on Google, because I was always taught from when I used to live in LT that Exodus invented the Luton cheese.
That's what I heard, but maybe I heard that from you.
But they said that another person in the States said that they've done the cheese strain. Everyone's trying to claim the cheese strain.
Okay, fair enough. Who knows? Yeah, cheese come along. Cheese was never the greatest yielder. So then they crossed it with blueberry to get the yield up a little bit, and it was nicer.
That's when you got the blue.
Yeah, man, blue cheese, you know. We used to call it Stilton. So you're going and people are trying to talk in code, and they talk about Stilton and all of that, you know. And there was blue cheese after that. And shall I tell you what? From there, it just sort of went wild.
So let's go.
Back in the room. All right, nice. So what we were saying about the Sensi Seed Bank.
Yeah.
So there weren't no internet to buy seeds and things like that back in the day. So you know a guy that used to sell cuttings, and you know a guy that knows a guy, and you know a guy that knows a guy, and it was all cuttings. It was all cuttings until I got to find out about the Sensi Seed Bank place, and that was in Fulham. But pardon me. But it closed down, and the rumour was that the geezer was working with the police, possibly. And
so what then? What would he do then? He'll sell you the seeds and then tell you that you bought the seeds and tell the police. That's not madness.
It is a madness. But I think if people are buying in bulk, I think people that are buying, 1,000 seeds or 2,000, 3,000 seeds, because the people who are coming to buy 2 packs of seeds, that don't make no sense. Do you know what I mean? What the police going to come around and do?
That's what I was kind of shook. I was kind of shook when, like Grow Well. I never really wanted to go and Grow Well and buy.
And you're on camera. You're on camera. Yeah, you're on camera and all that. But they used to have a Grow Well in Fulham, coincidentally as well. It looks like Fulham's a spot for the informers, you know what I mean? But I don't know. But they used to have a Grow Well in Fulham as well, and that all of a sudden just closed down. And I spoke to another man at another grow shop, and he was telling me, oh look, yeah, them lot was working with the police as well. But who knows? He's bound to say that because he's, you know what I mean? He's in a grow shop as well, you know. But yeah, there weren't no internet to buy our seeds, and then eventually the internet came about. And you could go online and buy seeds, and you buy seeds, and this is, like I said, this is where it just blew up. All of a sudden, so many different strains, you know, and
Strawberry Cough,
all of that,
K-Train,
Tangy, Sour Tangy.
Would you say that was the first kind of flavours?
Yeah.
And you could trace the heritage back to where the genetic came.
There you go. And on the packet it tell you this is that crossed with that, and all of that, you know.
Barney's Farms. Would you buy
Barney's Farm? Barney's Farm. Or would you go
online and get them sent to you through the post?
Yeah, now that's what I'd do. So we used to go online and get them sent in the post, you know. And I'll tell you what they done before Brexit. You could just go on any website in any shop, like not Barney's Farm, what was the one? Royal Queen. And that was Spanish. Right, that was Spanish. And you could just go on there and they'd send you some seeds, they'd send you a few free ones, especially if you're a regular, you get there once a week, just send you these free seeds and all of that. But when they done the Brexit thing, all of a sudden now, you couldn't just order from these Spanish grow shops and places like that. You couldn't do that.
But they've eaten it.
Yeah, that whole Brexit thing just mashed up the thing, and you could only order seeds in England. But then luckily, there was sites in England that, I don't know how they done it, but they've ordered them from Spain and they've ordered them from Amsterdam.
They're smart.
But what was the I can't remember the name of this website. But you go on that website and every single brand of seed, Humboldt seeds, Sensi Seed Bank, even got their own brand of seeds, Greenhouse Seeds, Barney's Farm, Royal Queen, all of these.
With all of them there.
They had, so imagine Barney's Farm's got 100 strains. They had all the 100 strains from Barney's Farm. Then you can click over there like that, you can go on Royal Queen, and these people would get the seeds and send you the seeds. But the wickedest thing is as well is, what they would do is they say, listen, with every how much you spend, you can get X amount of free seeds, right? So let's say you get free seeds. The free seeds that they give you is from some company you've never heard of before.
Are they feminized or they just, you don't?
Feminized, yeah, no, they were feminized.
Even the free ones?
Yeah, the free ones were feminized. But you know what I noticed about the free seeds? They're tiny. Tiny, funny looking little seeds, and then when you grow them, they never really amounted to nothing. It's like they just get, it was like they from their cousin's cupboard, you know, or something like that.
You know what these people are doing now, these big brands? Yeah. These big brands are called pheno hunting, and they do seed hunting, and then they grow these phenos and try to get the best phenotypes with the best characteristics, and then they're gonna make them mother plants, and they're gonna cross that with a cross that.
Greenhouse seeds, as far, I mean, from my experience, were one of the first people that I experienced to do that, and they used to send you a little DVD. And then man will go to Thailand, and they're in the field in Thailand, and then they will go to Jamaica, and they're in the field in Jamaica, and then they will go here, and they will go there, they go California, they go here, they go there, and they're hunting the strains, you know.
Hunting was
they
time ago.
Used to call them strain hunters. They used to have this little DVD, and it was called Strain Hunters. I never really watched the DVDs. I watched a little bit of one of them, and you know what I mean, you find out what's going on. But yeah, they used to go all over the world doing that, you know. But talking about all over the world, I wanted to talk about my experience in Morocco. Right, I've never seen so much cannabis plants in my life. Imagine this.
Okay, pause. So you're saying cannabis plants, are you talking about fields? Or is it indoor or outdoor? Is everything outdoor?
Let me tell you this, right? Let's start at the start of the story. We're in Morocco. I'm with a friend of mine whose parents are from Morocco, right? So he speaks a lingo, right? He speaks Arabic, or, you know, whatever it is. So we're in Morocco, we're partying, we're having a good time, we're doing this, we're doing that. And we said, listen, let's go and find where these Moroccan people grow this weed. Because we heard a lot about their hashish. Yeah, we just told ourselves that. We had a rental car, got in the rental, and just drove. We must have looked on Google Maps and went, where's the countryside? I swear.
You swear down, random.
Where's the countryside? All right, look, that's the countryside there. Let's just fucking head that way. Who knows, right? And what we done was we sort of headed towards the mountains because we heard that, you know, this is where people grow things in the mountains.
With straps. So where are you going?
I'll tell you this, right? It's funny, right? So we're in this little rental car, right? There's 4 of us, right? And we're driving. We drove for about 2 hours. And once we drove for 2 hours, civilization's behind us, and we started to be in the middle of nowhere, right? And we're driving, and listen, we're driving, and we're on these little dirt roads, but the dirt road's on the edge of the cliff. And whoever's sitting on that side of the car like that,
my heart's doing this.
I'm telling you, your heart's going like that. So whoever's driving the car, you're always fully confident, and you probably know you're not that close to the edge. But if you're the passenger in the back, and you're looking down, and it's thousands of feet drop, right? We're going around these little, over these little things, and it's single lane. So if anyone's coming towards you, someone's fucked. Someone's got a fucking reverse. All of that, right? On the edge of these things, right? And we're getting higher as well. You can see it. We're getting higher and higher up. So we park off one place. We find like a little cafe, and they love mint tea out there. There's always old Moroccan men sitting drinking mint tea. And we got to that cafe, and we go, mate, listen, we're looking for like where the cannabis fields are. And the geezer just went, yeah, that way. All right, cool. So we drove that way for half an hour, and you see someone walking on the road. We go, mate, we're looking for the cannabis fields. They go that way. All right, you drive for another half an hour. And we've done that about 20 times. And then we've come to like a dead end, right? What they're doing is they're building the road in front of us, right? So we've got to the end of the road, and they are now building the road in front of us.
Like a cartoon.
Literally like a cartoon, like Cheech and Chong, right? And we've seen these men building the road, and we've gone, mate, we're looking for the cannabis. And he goes, it's literally just there. It's literally just there. You're here. It's there. All right, so we parked the car there at the beginning of this building site where they're building the roads, and we got out and started walking. So we've walked for 15 minutes that way, 20 minutes that way, and we're walking, right? And you're on like a dirt path, and there's grass and stuff like that, and you can see the mountains are just there in the background. It's beautiful. There's snow on the top of the mountains and all of that. Oh, beautiful, right? So you're walking, and you see one weed plant. Just one little weed plant. Hey, look, there's a weed plant. Yeah, right then. No, there's 2 weed plants. No, there's 4 weed plants. And they come around the corner. We come around the corner, and I'm telling you, even with binoculars, you couldn't have seen to the end of this weed field. Even with binoculars. Millions, not thousands, millions of weed plants.
How big? Taller than you?
Up to about your waist. Up to about your waist. Some of them up to your waist. Some of them just below your shoulder.
Buds?
They were just starting to bud. They think,
loads of leaves.
Loads of leaves, little buds, but like millions. Millions. Oh, you couldn't see to the end of it. And you go around another corner, and there in front of you, there's another millions of plants. You go around another corner, millions of plants. And so what we said, fuck me, we better get some pictures. So we climbed over this little fence, tiny little fence up to your knee, climbed over this fence and sat down in these weed fields, and we're all taking pictures of each other in this weed fields and all of that. And then out of this field just comes a man with no teeth, right? And he's like, what are you doing? And we're like, oh. We're just taking some pictures. We're just taking some pictures, We're just taking some pictures. Go, nah, what are you doing, man? You're in my weed field. So my Moroccan friend who could speak the lingo, yes, spoke to the fella, and he's gone, all right, look, no problem, come with me. Right? In fact, no, he didn't go come with me. He had a little kid with him. Kid must have been about 11, 12, and he's gone. Look, he spoke to, I don't know what he said, right, like that, yeah, that's what, like that, yeah, and the little youth went, hey, like that, and like, boom, now we're walking through these weed plants. Imagine that, yeah. We're walking through this weed field, like it's not a path, you're going like that. You're trampling this man's weed, whoever these people's weed is, you're going like that, through this field of weed, over a thing. You're struggling to walk, there's no path, you're on rocks, you're on weed plants, you're fucking around, and you come out the end of this weed field. Imagine we walked through a weed field for half an hour. Half an hour. Wow, that's how much weed it was. Half an hour going like that.
Was it like in Barbados when there's weed? Is it not like that?
I'll tell you about Barbados weed in a minute. But in Morocco, the government act like, they're not into all of that, but like they don't, they clearly don't care. There's millions of plants.
So basically, they are into that.
They are into that, but they, on paper, they're not into that, We come out the end of this weed field after half an hour of walking through this weed field, and we're in like a little clearing, right? And when you come out in this little clearing, there's a man with a horse or a buffalo. I can't remember exactly what it was, right?
Bison.
A bison, bison. Right? So the buffalo's walking, and behind him he's got a plough, a wooden plough that looked like the ploughs from 500 years ago. Jesus used to use this plough, right? I swear to God, right? And then you're doing it with a horse and a plough, and they're ploughing this field and all of that. And the little kid went off, and he come back with an old man and a man in about his 30s. And we were just like, oh, we wanted some hash and we wanted to have a look and all of that. And these people were beautiful. The old guy. Right, so.
The old man.
Right, so we come out in this clearing. There's a guy in his 30s-ish, and there's an old guy. The old guy looks like he's about 70, but he's fit. And they've got another young guy with this buffalo or whatever it is. It might have been a horse, it could have been a donkey, my memory's vague. But on this plough. They didn't have no mechanical machinery doing this. And these people are growing, look like thousands, hundreds of thousands of plants, right? Proper manual team. But again, like that, there's going to be males, because who's going to go through every single one of these flipping plants? They're only growing it for hash.
So it doesn't really matter if it's male or female. Am I right?
No, but it sort of does, because if the females just end up full of seeds, you're not really going to get a lot of pollen off of them. What you want for good pollen is a proper female plant. I mean, it don't matter if it's got a few seeds in it, but if the whole thing's just seeds, it's
nuts. It's
just dead, But anyway, so we're there now. Mr. M spoke to these people because he can speak Arabic, and we was like, look, we was just looking for the weed fields, and we wanted to buy some hashish. And the geezer goes, all right, how many kilos you want?
Oh, Lord.
How many kilos you want?
How long was you there for?
In Morocco, about a week.
And he's asking for kilos.
So he goes, how many kilos do you want? And we went, nah, like, we just want to smoke. And he goes, look, I'll give it to you for £50 a kilo.
Guys,
£50 a kilo.
Hold on. £50. Edge note, what of the finest?
It was beautiful. It was the nicest hash I've ever smoked. And I tell you, so they gave us a ½ ounce. It was about a ½ ounce, right? And what they did was, so it's all seasonal out there. So we've turned up and it's not the right season.
What, for hash?
Yeah, right? But they still had kilos for us if we wanted it, right? And I swear it was about £50. It might be the £100 max a kilo, £100 max. And they were trying to persuade us to buy a kilo, and we were going, well, like, we've got no way of taking it back. How are we going to take it back? We just want to smoke. So we went, oh, don't worry, we'll give you a smoke. And they gave us about a ½ ounce, maybe just over a ½ ounce. And we watched it. He just got a load of pollen and he got a plastic bag. And he put the pollen in the plastic bag and just squeezed it. And it went from light green to dark to black. And he squeezed it. And he goes, there you go, you lot. So we've taken this out and we all started rolling joints. It was the nicest. And I don't like hash. I'm not really into hash. It was the nicest hash I've ever smoked in my life.
Just
nice, beautiful. Yeah, just squeezed it. And where it's sticky and moist, it just held together. It held together, and the hash, it pretty much stayed soft because it's quite warm out there. But you could tell if you put that in a fridge or brought it to England somewhere cold, it'd probably get a bit hard, But it was warm out there and it was soft. It was the nicest hash in the world. That ½ ounce lasted us there's 4 of us and it lasted us about 4 days. But they were beautiful, those people. We sat there with them for a couple of hours and they bought us figs. Because they grow figs out there. They're not like figs. I'm not into figs, but I ate the figs just to be...
So the hospitality over there was beautiful.
They were so nice. We've just walked into their fucking life, into their weed field. They don't know us from Adam. We could have been anyone, And they're like, come sit down. Have some of this mint tea, because they like that mint tea. Have this hashish and eat these figs with us. And we sat and spoke with them for an hour. And an hour or two.
Have you seen the Rasta man before?
I didn't ask them, but I assume everyone's seen Bob Marley, But
I'm talking about in person, though. So sometimes it's like, they go to touch your skin.
Yeah, no, it weren't like that. No.
Okay, I got that in Czech Republic.
No, I got that in Czech as well. Like, the Czech people are a bit behind their hand. You go in a pub or whatever and everything, they do things like that. But when they get to know you, they're cool. Because all drugs are decriminalised in Czech as well. So you go to the pub, and my girlfriend's dad, all of her friends are sitting outside the pub. They're all 50 and 60, all sitting out there smoking weed outside the pub. Right? It's just all decriminalised. I've got the mushrooms, gummies from the shop out there. You just buy that in the shop.
That's what happened recently, Germany, Czech, most of Europe have all gone down that decriminalising it.
Romania, you got a jail for a spliff.
Yeah, they've done that with Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly plug. Guys, if you're new to the channel, go downstairs, like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
Do that.
So talk to me.
Do that. So that was the Morocco experience. That was lovely, very friendly. Like I said, no more than £100 for a kilo. I think it was £50 for a kilo, if my memory serves me correctly.
Can I ask you a question? Comparison then. So obviously you've been in the rural areas, yeah? So when you went to Barbados, because you lived over there, that's your heritage.
Yes.
What there feels like?
Right. So this was the deal in Barbados, right? So Barbados is one of the smallest islands in the Caribbean, but it's not. But it's one of the smallest big islands. Okay. Let's say one of the smallest commercial, busy, touristy kind of islands. It's one of the smallest. It's about the size of London. It's like 21 by 17 or something like that. It's tiny, yeah, right, tiny. So and it's not very hilly. Barbados is a very flat island, right? So growing weed in Barbados, the penalties were very harsh, and there's nowhere really to grow any weed. People were scared to grow weed. When I was living out there for the year, you get to find out that people were growing it in St. Vincent and bringing it on fishing boats. And they would bring it close enough to Barbados, and then you'd have a swimmer. And he would swim from the beach to the bag, and then back to the beach and to the bag, and to the beach and to the bag, and to the beach and to the bag. And I was living out there, and we live in the countryside. My family from sort of the countryside, St. Patrick's. Big up St. Patrick's Christchurch. Big up the Bourne family, St. Patrick's Christchurch. I encourage everyone to go to Barbados. Nicest people in the world. I'm telling you, you drop your wallet in front of a crackhead out there, he's picking your wallet up and giving it back to you. It's like that.
But you want to change?
It's like that. He'll ask for a change, and if you're a good man, you give him a change, you know. But they're the best people in the world, honestly. I was at the wrong bus stop once, and a woman see me. She's gone, "What are you doing now?" I've gone, "I'm waiting for the bus." She goes, "No bus ain't coming here. The bus, you'll be there till Monday waiting for the bus." She goes, "No, you got to go over there for the bus." She goes, "But the bus ain't coming for an hour." Invited me in her house, gave me grapes, gave me a drink, everything, and then when the bus was ready, then took me to the bus stop, waited at the bus stop with me, and this is how nice they are out there. But they don't really grow weed in Barbados. They don't. They get it from St. Vincent. And I remember sitting in Barbados, right? I used to sit and smoke weed. And when I was out there in the 90s, weed was abundant out there. Weed, like I said, I was taking Bob Marley posters out there and just giving me ounces for a Bob Marley poster, you know? It's different now, right? It's a lot less readily available out there now. And possibly the penalties have got harsher. I'm not sure. And what they would do is they shave your dreadlocks. If you got caught with weed and you ended up in jail, and you're never in jail for anything, they jail you and shave your dreadlocks.
For religious purposes. These are lots
No, they weren't having a bar of it. Now, I don't think they do that out there. But back in the 90s, that's what they used to do. And I used to live in the countryside. So I'd just like go and sit on a hill and smoke weed, and you'd see people hiding their weed. You'd see people with tens of black bags full of weed, yeah, right, looking like that, look like that, and then he'd go down in a hole or goes down like that, and you know what I mean, he'd hide his weed. And I used to ask people for spliffs out there in the 90s, and they'd give you an ounce. It could go like that. Go, there you go, there's a spliff, you know.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Dred. And I ask this to Tyler, and I ask this to most people. We know the plant is natural, it's not a drug. But why do people say that cannabis is a gateway drug? I want your perspective, or your opinion, because we had this conversation off camera.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I'll tell you what I reckon. I don't think cannabis is a gateway. If cannabis is a gateway drug, then that means cigarettes are a gateway.
Okay, so because it's not a drug.
Anyway, do you know what? It depends, because I think that the definition, the etymology of the word drug comes from possibly a Dutch word, maybe, but the word drugs, and it's drugs, and it's a dried herb. I think that's where that come from. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But anyway, or a dried something. Anyway, but I don't think it's a gateway drug, because if it's a gateway drug, like I said, then that means nicotine is a gateway drug, right? I just think cannabis is more readily available. Okay. There's less of a stigma. Like, if people didn't, if crackheads weren't stigmatized and didn't nick their nan's DVD players to buy crack, and crack, people will probably start off smoking crack. But it's stigmatized. Nobody wants to be called a crackhead. Nobody wants to be called that. But you don't get that with weed. I think as young people, weed seems harmless, and that's why people start off smoking weed. It's cheap. It doesn't come across as very addictive, from what you hear. And this is why people start smoking weed. It's cheap. Your mum ain't going to kick you out, possibly, depends who you are, for smoking weed or whatever. So that's what it is. And I think that's why people start off smoking cannabis. I don't think it's a gateway.
Do you think people are always going to choose to do things in their life because they're making choices of the people that keep around them, that bad associations make bad companies?
Yeah, definitely.
You're smoking weed and Peter or John's over there and he's on hard food and we hang around him for a long enough time. Do you think we'll start doing hard food?
Depends what your personality's like, And not only that, I mean, if you looked at John's life and realised actually his life is spiralling out of control, and you know what I mean, you might not do it. But if you looked at John's life and John's doing really well, and he's smoking crack. You know, a lot of these musicians, like rock and roll musicians and all of that, they all take heroin. They all take heroin, you know, and things like that. But if you look at their life, they're living all right. You know, they've done experiments. Well, I mean, they don't look like heroin addicts. They're multi-millionaires. They're doing what they do, you know, and they've done these substances, whether it's crack or whatever it is, or cocaine or whatever. I think it helps them possibly inspirationally for their music and stuff like that. They're in the studio, they're taking drugs and all of that, you know. I'll tell you what they've done. They've done an experiment with some rats. And what they've done with the rats is they've given the rats a shit environment to live in, and they've given some of the rats a great environment to live in. And they've given them both heroin. And what they found is the rats that live in a shit environment became addicted to the heroin, and the rats that live in a good environment didn't become addicted to the heroin.
You saw it with your own eye?
This is a thing I've watched. It's a documentary.
And you watched it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Dope.
You know, so it seems like, you know, addiction and stuff like that is definitely linked to your environment and your you know, state of mind. If you're, you know,
what you're taking in and what you're seeing and how you're living.
You know,
you know, is mental health with cannabis, cannabis psychosis.
Yes.
Do you think cannabis is to play a part in it, or do you think people have an underlying mental health issue before they smoke cannabis, why they spiral out and go?
So I've got 3 people that I know very well personally.
I know them as well.
Yeah, he does. That have been, you know, they said that they have got cannabis-induced psychosis. This is what it seems that has happened to these people. This is what they've been diagnosed with, right? They're saying that, no, you've got cannabis-induced psychosis. Now, all 3 of these people that I know, or 2 of them for sure I know, have been through trauma. They've been through some serious trauma. They've had people close to them die and stuff like that, and they've been through some serious trauma. And I think it's possible that these people were smoking cannabis excessively in order to mask as well this thing. It's almost like they've put these trauma to the back of their mind, and the cannabis helps keep it in that cupboard in the back of their mind, you know, and they're smoking. I'll tell you this one story. So, like I said, I used to live in Hounslow West. We had a 2-bedroom flat there. I moved out of the flat and moved in with a girl, and there was this fella that I used to go to school with, and I said, well, I've moved out. Mum, listen, this fella that I used to go to school with, he's a lovely guy. Let's rent the room out to him. And we were getting £150 a month. And back then, £150 a month was good money, you know. You know, you could probably rent a 1-bedroom flat for £500 back then, you know. Okay. Right? So, you know, he's moved in my mum's. And back then, we were smoking ITAL spliffs. We didn't put tobacco in our spliffs.
So for them, okay, so that's no tobacco.
No tobacco.
Was it Red Rizzler?
No, it was blues. It was blue.
Out, yeah?
The olders used to smoke with Red Rizzler, and we could never work out why they smoked with Red Rizzler.
There's 1 sheet, 2 sheet, 3. They used to do this, man. We could buy the kids in that.
You know, they all used to do it. They all used to stick like 12 Red Rizzler together. 5 facing that way, 6 facing upwards, some facing this way. Lick that like that. Get the glue. They used to lick one of the little Rizzler, fold up the flap on the thing like that, and then fold it back down like that. And when you pull out the thing like that, the glue from the Rizzler has now stuck these Rizzler together. These that used to do missions and then empty a whole cigarette. They used to empty a whole cigarette into the thing and then sprinkle some little crumbs of weed. I used to dread smoking these old people's spliffs. They used to give us some spliffs and it was terrible. But I got that ITAL thing from Barbados. They don't smoke, they don't really mix their things out
tobacco
there.
Leaves. You came back with tobacco leaves?
I came back with tobacco leaves. So if they mix it with anything, they used to have something called a colt, which is a cigar dipped in wine that used to have a nice taste. And right, and they used to mix it with that. Or tobacco leaves. They used to call it Fanta. In some Caribbean countries, they call it Franta. I used to go and pick tobacco leaves and just dry them. And you dry them out, and you could use a tobacco leaf like a Rizzler and roll a whole spliff in the tobacco leaf. Yeah, we used to do that. Or you crush up the tobacco leaf and mix it in a Rizzler with the weed. But most people didn't smoke weed with anything out there, and they still don't. I came back from there with that, and I was like, now listen, we're all, because like I said, I was a bit older, a bit influential. I was like, now we're all smoking this now with no tobacco. This is how we do it. And me and a friend of mine went and bought a shisha thing. They used to sell these shishas, right? And
chalice.
A chalice, but it weren't a chalice. That's the thing. So you get a chalice.
What's the difference between a chalice and a shisha? I know we're going to go on to the story of the guy that was living in New York. But
I've digressed. So a chalice, you could make it out of anything. In Jamaica, they used to make it out of a telephone. Coconut, no, a telephone. They got something called a telephone chalice. They got reggae songs about a telephone chalice. And the old school landline. So you screw off the top there like that, yeah, and then screw off the bottom there like that. I don't know if they put foil in it or whatever it is. I've never done it. And make like a pipe out of this telephone, or they make it out of coconut, or they make it out of a calabash. Any sort of round vessel that you could put a bit of water in the bottom and things like that.
Bubble up.
Yeah, because it cools it. So you take the pull of the thing like that, and the smoke goes through the water filters it, cools it down, so it's not so harsh on your throat, and you smoke the chalice like that. Just that
Okay,
rock you. So the shisha now, they started selling them in Hounslow West. And the shisha it's got water in the bottom as well, but it's like a tall thing. You could stand it up on the floor and it'd be up above your knee, right? And it's got a cup. And what like a lot of Moroccan people and Middle Eastern people and Arab type people, they like to smoke that shisha. And what they would do is they would get this flavoured tobacco, stick it in the cup of this shisha thing, then put foil on top and get a little charcoal briquette. Light the charcoal briquette, put it on top of there like that, and it's got 2 pipes coming out of it, and you and your mate can smoke this flavoured tobacco and have a nice time. You can go Edgware Road now and go and smoke all these shishas and all of that.
Okay,
all right. Cool. We didn't do that. What we done was forget that foil on the top, forget that charcoal briquette. We just used to take the cup of the shisha thing and just ram it with weed. You put a quarter in there. Imagine put a quarter in there. And I used to drive round. We used to drive round with no license, no insurance, no tax, no nothing. I looked like I was 12 driving around in these cars, and I always wondered why the police were stopping me. I think they're victimising me. Why are they victimising me? I was talking to them, we used to have cushions to see over the steering wheel and all that. We didn't give a fuck. We were smoking this shisha thing, driving round like Cheech and Chong, smoke billowing out of the windows, didn't give a fuck. Anyway, this guy's moved into my mum's flat. We're smoking these shisha things and smoking quarters and more in spliffs, big spliffs, yeah, quarters, like massive things, like missiles, with no tobacco. Right, so this is serious business we're dealing with, we're seriously smoking this. And I went to Barbados for a month. When I came back from Barbados, they've gone, listen, let's call him Frankie. Frankie's gone. Where's Frankie gone? No, he's gone, Peter. What do you mean he's gone? Listen, one day Frankie took off all his clothes. And went and knocked on all 30 flats, crying for his mum. Then he come back. Then he went out another day with just his wife fronts on, playing football in the park in his wife fronts, crying for his mum. Because what he thought was, he could come around us and smoke like us. But
so do you say the weed did that to him, or do you think he had an underlying...
I think he had an underlying thing, because I've got another friend who it happened to as well, and he had been through some things in life, and he ended up getting sectioned, and he was all right for a few years. He was probably on government medication, and then he started smoking a lot of weed again, and then he went mad, and that was the final one, because after that there was no saving him. He just disappeared, and I ain't seen him again. So I don't think cannabis sends people mad. I think people that have got underlying conditions, if they smoke too much, and do you know what it is? I think some people just shouldn't get high on anything. How does that person know that? How do you know you're that kind of person? They don't. No, they don't. And this is how they end up like that with this psychosis.
So my next thing, that's why they do the medicinal cannabis. That's why you speak to your medicinal doctor every 6 months, or some of them every week, to double check how everything is. But they give you a questionnaire. You could lie on the questionnaire.
That's what I was about to say.
You
could just tell them anything.
Do you feel suicidal? No.
You could just tell them anything. You could just tell them anything, couldn't you? You could just tell them everything. And I think the government know this. This is what I always say. The government don't want the best for us. They don't. If they starting giving people cannabis willy-nilly, all you got to do is say you got something wrong with your back. Yeah. Right? You do that twice. Right? You say, I've taken your tramadol and I've taken your fucking Xanax. It's not working, whatever it is, yeah? Right? And then you go back and now they're giving you cannabis. It's not for the best. It's not. They don't want the best for you, especially places like America. Do you think the American government want the best for their people? Of course they don't.
Big Pharma, not Big Pharma. Trump just recategorized it to level 3. I think he's done it for Big Pharma. They're trying to squeeze out the trapper.
And they're making money. And this is what I was also saying. So when I was in Morocco with those guys, we were talking to them, and they said to us, look, in a few years, we'll either be out of business because it's all becoming medicinal, and the government will go to us, listen, go away, you can't do this anymore, or we have to join their party. We've got to jump on their bandwagon and join their party.
Grow for them.
Basically, you've got to grow for the government. Yeah, and the government will dictate the price. And they'll tell these people that have been doing this for thousands of years, now we're going to tell you what you can sell your thing for. And if you don't like it, you're going to stop selling it. And this is what I was saying about the people in Jamaica and in St. Vincent and places like that. For years, these people have been growing weed. They are the foundation of this weed thing. The foundation when Thailand, all them places, South Africa, Durban, places like that, Colombia, these people are the foundation of that cannabis thing. And now the governments are all just coming along going, well, no, mate. No. Tom, Dick and Harry are now growing this. You lot can't grow. We were criminals.
FDA people regulating it. It's very hard to get a license. You've got criminal records. You can't even get a dispensary.
We were criminals for growing weed and selling weed. We were criminals. And now they've turned around and gone, all right then, it's not a criminal thing anymore. But you know what? You lot can do one. You lot can do one. It's not like they're going, all right, you lot started this and all of that. Your Bob Marleys and your Dennis Browns and your Gregory Isaacs. Yeah, it's like, here you go, look. You can take it or leave it. And a lot of the time, anything you can take it or leave it. It's like, no, you lot can now leave it. Because we're doing this now.
It's basically that is, because I'm always on the Instagram. I'm always looking at these multi-billion grows that are legit and they're paying tax on it. I'm trying to look for someone that looks like me, and I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be like that, because you know me, I'm very transparent, but I'm not finding anybody.
You're not going to find no one.
I've endorsed though, like rappers that endorsed by these people.
Yeah.
But I haven't got their setup.
Yeah, you're not going to find no one, because people like us, you know, we're not meant to do that. And like I said, if the government are ever giving you, if the government are ever going, look, have a go on that, that's good. It's probably not that good for you. That's what I think. McDonald's and all these different things that they're giving people, you know, they don't want the best for you. You know, tobacco. Do you remember when cigarettes, people first started smoking cigarettes? They used to go, they're good for you. They used to go, smoke one of them, that's good for you. What, you got fucking tuberculosis? Go and have a fucking cigarette. You know, you got fucking diphtheria and fucking ruminella and fucking typhoid and all of that. Anything you got, here, have a fag. Have a fag. You go to the dentist, they go, look, have some cocaine. That'll fucking sort your toothache out. Yeah.
And then you got no teeth.
Yeah, Coca-Cola was full of cocaine and all of that. You know? And if the government are going, look, here, go and have a go on that, it's probably not good for you. So I think that...
Go back to the trap.
The strength, and the thing is, do you know what the worst thing is when I was young, the older people used to talk to me and go, no, the strength of the weed nowadays is bad for you. And I used to look at those old people going, you're talking bollocks.
Yeah.
Right? And now I'm nearly 50 and I'm looking at the things going, no, they're too strong. Actually, they're not good for you. But I wonder, is that...
When you say not good for you, what's not good? What, for your brain?
Yeah. And this is what I always say. Do you know what? I've got 3 kids now and they're really young. All my friends have already had their kids and their kids are 20 and all of that, right? And I've often said, and I don't know if I still feel the same way, but I've often said, if my kids are going to smoke cannabis, you at least need to finish university. And finish your studies, your brain needs to develop, because one of the things that we used to do for us, we used to just go, well, it's all right. That's all right. This is what you used to do. You go, well, I'll do that tomorrow. Remember the Afro Man song, Because I Got High? It's literally this what it was. It was like, I was going to do that, but I just got high. And then next thing you know, 4 years have gone. You know, people are dropping out of university because they're just fucking sitting, smoking and getting high. We just used to sit and play PlayStation all day. Nintendo all day. PlayStation 1. Mario Kart, Demolition Derby, Soul Calibur.
Wow.
What? Soul Calibur. Mate, Street Fighter 2, all of that, you know. Frazzled, man, smoking. But it was all right. And years went past, you know. So I've often said, if it's for my children, I might say, look, you're going to smoke, but you know what? I don't want you to smoke. But if you're going to smoke, you've got to at least do what you're doing in life and get somewhere in life. Because I sort of feel like, especially the strength of it now as well, mate, that fucking, I'll tell you what, I don't smoke weed anymore. I don't really. I mean, I smoked a little port on a vape here and there.
What do you think? The vapes, what was your favourite way? Was it extracts, was it hash, was it flower, was it vape?
So back in the day, I just used to smoke a joint, right? I used to smoke a joint. Philly Blunts came out. You go and buy a cigar. That was like the sort of, this is where I'm sort of beginning to end smoking cannabis. And blunt wraps just come out and all of that. This is how long ago I didn't stop, but I weren't doing that quarter in a spliff thing anymore, you know. It weren't my everyday, all day. Yeah, right. Okay. You know, I could take it or leave it and all of that, you know. The nowadays thing, I sort of feel like it's so strong. I'll tell you what, like I said, I don't really smoke anymore. And sometimes I drive around for a living. And I'm driving, and I had a few pulls on this geezer's spliff, you know, a few weeks ago. And it's because I'm a lightweight. I know I'm a lightweight. So, because he's all right, but he looked pretty high. But I had a few pulls on his spliff, and I felt like I'd had 5 cans of beer. I regretted it.
What was the taste? Did you get the taste? Because I'm a taste.
It tasted beautiful. I ain't gonna lie, it did taste beautiful. And if anything, the nowadays weed tastes lovely.
It's called terp profiles.
It tastes lovely.
Yeah, I start to profile.
It tastes amazing. And the fact that you can choose, you know, where you can go, oh, I don't want that one. Well, I've got 7 different weed to choose from. It's beautiful, you know, like it's really nice.
Variety.
You know, the variety's nice, you know, you go, I don't like that, I'll have some of that. That one makes me feel lively. That one makes me feel sleepy, whatever. But I had a few pulls in this spliff and it was
I see you vaping there.
No, it's all nicotine.
It's a nicotine vape.
It's all nicotine, yeah.
I know you've tried the cannabis vapes.
Yes, I've got one.
I can't hold them down. I don't really like them. How do you find them?
Yeah, they're all right. I like them because it doesn't seem to hit me for as long. So I can have a few pulls on the vape. I'll literally have 3 pulls on the vape. I'm high for about an hour and then I'm all right. You know, I'll just carry, you know, if I smoked someone's amnesia the other day. And do you know what? I'd rather smoke the more modern things. I ain't gonna lie. I smoked some of the modern thing. It was nice. And I still felt sort of like I said, it felt like I smoked, drunk 5 beers, but I was still lively. But I smoked some of this guy's ammo spliff the other day and I just felt depressed. I felt depressed and I couldn't be arsed. I just couldn't be arsed.
Exotics then, you can't.
You know,
Dave's basement, you can't smoke it.
Nah, it just done me and I felt depressed and I couldn't really, you know, I didn't really want to carry on doing work that I was doing that day and all of that, you know.
Okay, I want to ask you the next question.
Go on.
You off. Would you pay £50 for a 3.5?
Oh, this is the thing as well. This is the thing as well. So when I was young, I used to buy quarter, half ounce, half a bar.
Okay.
That was it. Then they came with a quarter bar. That was new. It was like 260 quid, I remember, for a quarter bar. 2 in a cube. 2 in a cube. Right? £260, £250, £280 was expensive. £300 you're getting extorted, you know, and that was it, you know.
Okay.
So that was me. Right? That was me.
Okay.
But then I've sort of drifted away. I don't really smoke anymore, you know, I don't really, and now I talk to people that smoke, and how much was a 3.5 back in the day? 30 quid?
30 quid, bro.
30 quid? And then people are paying £50 and I'm going, fuck me, you're getting robbed.
No, it used to be £100 as well. Back in 2017.
Nowadays, I know people that pay £80 for a 3.5 of fucking cannabis. And you know what the wickedest thing is? It don't cost no more to grow. It don't. It costs the same amount. In fact, it costs less to grow because they're using LEDs. So the LEDs don't really use no electricity. When I was doing them things back in the day, the electricity used to cost, if you've got fucking 6 lights in a room, the electric was crazy. You worry that the electric people are going to fucking start investigating you and call the police because the electric's mad and it's 12 on, 12 off and it's got this pattern. And then the electric company are going, fuck me, what's he using? Something? We used to do all kinds of weird things. We had an electrician. And you call the electrician, and what he would do is he'd come outside the house, find where the electric began, and directly link you into the electric from the road. Like that, you know? So you've got this weird extension lead coming from like a box somewhere on the front of some house or something like that, and it just comes directly in, and you don't pay the electric. You know, you've bypassed the meter. You've bypassed the meter. You go in the house and they've got an electric meter in the house and that says how much electric you're using. But the wires that come from the street go into the bottom of that meter and you get the electric geezer to come round and they come round and link you in the bottom of the box. Because anything out the top of the box, you're getting charged for. Anything in the bottom of the box, that's coming straight from the pavement, you know? So, you know, and this is what we used to do. But nowadays, they're using them LEDs and it actually costs less to grow. It's less to grow. It's easier. You know, there's less.
You still think you need some kind of knowledge base to grow? Can any Tom, Dick and Harry go in and say, I'm putting the seed in a pot and I'm growing Bob's your uncle?
Well, you can do, but you can smoke that. You can't sell that. You know, you can't sell that. You're going to need some sort of knowledge nowadays. And this is another thing, one of the things why I stopped growing as well, because I'm old slapdash and, you know what I mean, whatever and all of that. And that could work back in the day. My slapdash things could work back in the day, but now, you know.
I want density and buds. I want to see them.
Oh, mate, people are fully professional now and you can't get away. There are still people that will buy any bud. But nowadays there's more variety, more connoisseurs and all of that. But who's paying £80? Paying £80 for a 3.5? It costs less to grow. And I'm looking, guys, so when I used to pay £25 for a 3.5 and it costs enough money to grow that, now it costs less money to grow it and the price has tripled. You're getting robbed. You're getting robbed and they're telling you that it's coming from California. Nobody's risking bringing anything from California. I'm telling you that. No, I don't believe you.
Bruv,
I don't believe you.
It's coming through your letterbox. It's coming. I believe it because I know it. You get me?
Okay, fair enough.
Some packs get clamped.
Yeah, no.
But some do come. And
I agree. I agree. I agree. 100%. That is what's going down. But I'll tell you this, a large percentage of what people are smoking in the UK has been grown in the UK by very knowledgeable, very professional growers. I know one of them personally, you know him.
I know.
Right, listen.
You can pass it off as Pally.
All day long. And he's not the only one that's doing it. So there's loads of people over here growing things in a loft somewhere, doing it extremely well, buying professional looking bags with barcodes that you can scan and all that bollocks and doing all of that. And then they're charging you £80 for a 3.5. But it costs him fuck all to grow that. How much did the 3.5 cost him? £1? Cost him £1. Cost him no more than a fiver. It cost him £5 to grow that 3.5 and you're paying £80 for it. And you know what? The market dictates the price.
Yeah.
Because people are willing to do that, then that's what they'll sell it for.
You know how it goes.
That's what they'll sell it for.
So weed and music go together, I believe.
Yes.
And you are in the sound system. So what are you doing now?
Yes.
So to plug your song.
Right, yes. So I used to be big in the music game, King Alpha Sound System. You can go on YouTube, go on my YouTube channel, Bootleg Recordings, right? I'm going to go on my phone properly and find out it's Bootleg Recordings with a bag of numbers underneath
I'll add it to the description.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Go on my little YouTube channel. I've only got a few videos, but there's videos of me doing my sound system thing. So we started off in that little club in Finsbury Park. People come and see us. They've gone, we like you. Come and play in Luton. Come and play in Milton Keynes. Come and play in Leeds. Come and play in Bradford. More promoters see you. Come and play in France. Come and play in Belgium. Come and play festivals. We've done festival Shabba Ranks is at the festival and all kinds of big famous people. We're doing things like that. Come and play in Germany. Come and play in Spain. Sometime you drive the whole sound system to Spain. I've driven all the way to Barcelona and back.
Give them context. So he's talking about those big speakers.
Carnival things. Yeah, dub. It's dub music. UK dub. It's UK dub. Them big carnival things. When you go carnival and see all of them big speaker box and all of that, we got all of them. We used to drive them all over Europe and go and do things. But more often than not, you're not taking a sound system. They just pay your flight, pay your hotel, give you a little money at the end of the dance. But what also they've got to do is, they ask you if there's anything you want. What do you want when you get to your hotel?
Piff.
Right? We need cannabis. We need lots of cannabis. And the thing is, you know what? You go give us lots of cannabis, they give you a quarter. Right? That for them, that at the time probably felt like a lot of cannabis, or they just thought to themselves, fuck these cases, we're going to give them a quarter. But they give you about a quarter usually, maybe.
Best?
Now, I'm going to tell you about the different standards now. I mean, now I'm a drinker, you know, like in the more recent times when I've been abroad, I'd ask for a bottle of Grey Goose. I mean, you can bring a quarter of cannabis if you want, but what I want is a bottle of Grey Goose. I need that in my hotel when I get to my hotel. I need some beer and I need something nice to eat. Yeah, one time they left us in France. Listen, they left us in France in this place that looked like World War II. It had wooden shutters on the windows. It was cobbled streets. It was empty. They left us in the flipping room with Heineken. I don't even drink Heineken. It's nasty. Heineken, 4 baguettes and brie and camembert and nastiness like that, right? Anyway, this is how the hospitality goes. But anyway,
Rasta.
Right, imagine that, like, and they're giving me that to eat. I need rice and things like, I need fish, man. What the fuck are you lot doing, man? You know, Heineken, I'm drinking Heineken, I can't even get drunk. It don't matter how much Heineken I'm drinking, I can't even get, anyway. But, so you would ask for things and they would give you weed. And what I found is that the different places in Europe, the quality of the weed was different.
Where was the best? Where was your best and where was your worst?
Right, England has always had the best cannabis for me. If I'm picking, maybe not now, but when I was doing my thing in the mid and early thousands, England had the best, always. Maybe that was because I knew who to get the best weed from, or maybe them lot just got shit weed out there. Because you go to France and the weed was terrible. The weed was terrible. It was fucking horrendous. Maybe they bought the cheapest, but no, I don't think they did. I think the weed was just shit in France. It was shit. Germany, that was a load of shit as well. That was dog shit. Belgium had nice weed. Spain had shit weed, actually, funnily enough. I've been Madrid and I've been Barcelona a few times. They used to have shit weed. Belgium and Switzerland had the best weed for me, like when we were traveling. We went to Japan in 2013, all expenses paid, hotel paid, fucking liquor, food, everything. We were treated like kings for 2 weeks out there, you know.
What was the grade like?
The grade in Japan was good. I would say it was like, I'll tell you what it was like. It was, you wouldn't go out of your way to buy it, but if there wasn't anything else around, you'd buy it. Because you know there are times there's nothing around, but it's shit, I'm not buying that. It was never that. They had some good weed in Japan. They got some dreadlocks people in Japan, with Japanese people with dreadlocks that are fully into their weed, and they had some nice weed out there. And we was walking around in the street in Japan smoking the weed, you know? We had the police slow down. Yeah, we had the police slow down a few times, and you know what I mean. One of the times they come and talk to us, you know, whatever. You know, it was all good, and they fucked off. But Japan had okay weed. It had better weed than France. It had better weed than Germany. It had better weed than Spain at the time. This is in like the early, 2009, 2008, and all that. You know, Japan had all right weed. They were into their weed in Japan, you know. But then now. We done a festival fairly recently. When I say fairly recently, it ain't. Because I say the other day, and really it was about, 7 years ago or something like that. But we went to a festival in Barcelona, and by then I think it had just started to come into the shops out there and all of that shit like that.
They're getting import in there and they grow their own weed over there. I think they can grow 2 plants. You told me. What are they allowed to grow? Legally 2 plants?
I'm not sure actually. A lot of countries like Czech. Like, my missus is from Prague, she's from Czech, and over there you're allowed to grow, I think it's like sort of 5 or 6 plants. So you're all growing plants on their balcony out there and all of that. Her dad tried to grow me skunk, it was terrible. But I smoked it to be polite, you know. He's an old man, he's a drinker, he likes beer, you know what I mean? He's not into cannabis, but he thought he'd try and do me a favour. You know, but... Do
you think you'll come back and never be like a piffer? Like, would you go back to smoking and say, I smoke weed?
Shall I tell you what done it to me? I'll tell you. Enough people are going to look at me and go, no, you're an idiot, Peter, you're a fool. I'll tell you what happened to me. So I got with my missus and I was up to all kinds of no good. And I was still quite a big cannabis smoker. Well, big, but you know, I used to smoke cannabis. That was my thing. I used to smoke cannabis. I didn't drink. And she found me to be quite lethargic and possibly annoying.
What, slow?
Well, not slow, but you know,
very. Like, she asked you to paint the room and you ain't painted it.
I would, but I fucking take me 4 days. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
I'm gonna
I'll do it. Yeah, no, you know, and it's like, you know, I was just too. You know, her personality isn't that kind of a way. So, you know, she was like, look, what are you doing, man? They're sitting there, a lot of my kids are savings and I'm laughing, holding my sides. And it's a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old said something and I'm laughing like it's fucking Dave Chappelle. Like Dave Chappelle, I'm in a fucking comedy club, you know, and I'm laughing. And I'm
still got your youthful, bruv. You're still
it's true. But you know what? You know, and you know what? I'll be candid with all you people. You know what? I was an only child, and it was just me and my mum, and all I really wanted all my life was a family. And all of a sudden, I've got this family. So when she said to me, "Look, you know," I was like, "Oh, look, I'll cut down on the weed." So I cut down on the weed, and I started drinking. I've got this belly now. I used to have an 8-pack. You fucking remember? I used to go to the gym with him all the fucking time.
I would rather smoke than drink.
No, the thing is, I remember the time where I sort of started crossing over to the drinking thing. At that time, I would have rather have smoked than drink. But then I got to love beer. I fucking love beer now. I love beer. I love beer. Beer's like olives. The first time you had an olive, you went, that's nasty. The second time you had an olive, it's nasty. But after the seventh time, they say it's 7 times. After the 7th time you had the olive, you're fucking going, these olives are great. And I've done it with beer. And I'm like, nah, this fucking beer is lovely now.
So you don't like a beer and a drink? You just rather have a beer?
I can't smoke a beer and have a joint because I'll spin out. I'll literally whitey, do you know what I mean? I'll do one or the other. If I smoke a joint, I'm all right. If I drink a beer, I'm all right. But if I do the 2 of them at the same time, I'm fucking useless.
So when you're drinking a beer, would you have a fag or a vape then?
Yeah, when I'm drinking the beer, I'll smoke the vape.
I can't do that.
Yeah, when I'm drinking the beer, I'll smoke the vape. And the thing is, I used to smoke fags. You know, I used to drink a lot and smoke fags, but only when I was drinking. I've never been a big cigarette smoker. But do you know what? I started smoking vapes, and now the thought of a cigarette, it repulses me. It's the smell of a cigarette repulses me.
But
you know, these taste like fucking grapes.
But do you know what's in that? At least you know the nicotine's got bloody nicotine in the cigarette.
Well, there's all kinds of fucking all
what's
that. Yeah.
In that?
Who knows, mate?
Do you care?
Not enough to stop. Not enough to stop. Not enough to stop. You know, not enough to stop. You know, the thing is, I've got friends that go, look at the documentary, there's a documentary there. And what they've done is they put the vape on the fucking door of the shower and they couldn't scrape it off. That's what's happening to your lungs. But you know what? Let me tell you this. Right? They've got experiment where they put a penny in a fucking in a glass of Coca-Cola. And the penny come up shiny and bright and all of that. Yeah. But hold on one second. My belly's not a fucking penny. My belly ain't made out of copper. Yeah. So it's not going to do the same thing to my belly. So you can put that thing on the shower screen. But my lungs are not a shower screen. But I know it's bad for me. Don't get it twisted. I'm not endorsing it. This is terrible. It's Chinese. It's Chinese. Who knows what they're fucking doing? But I'm going to smoke that or smoke a cigarette. And the smell of cigarettes now disgusts me. When I smell people smoking cigarettes, I think to myself, it's 2025. What the fuck are you doing smoking fags in 20? It stinks. Why are you still smoking fags? You know, I'm converted. It tastes like blueberries. It tastes like grapes. It tastes like pineapple. Who don't like the taste of pineapple? I like the taste of pineapple. You lot like the taste of pineapple. It's better than a fag, I reckon.
Mad man. All right, guys, listen. We're gonna wrap that.
Lovely. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, listen.
I've enjoyed it.
Tell
It's
them
beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Bootleg Recordings. Go on the YouTube channel, find Bootleg Recordings. If he don't put it in the description, I am gonna fucking terrorise him. I'm telling you, he's gonna put it in.
He's gonna be a regular. So
I'm coming back because I've got more stories. I've got stories until you lot fall asleep. You lot be fall asleep, wake up, and then have to rewind the thing to listen to the rest of the thing. I've got so much more stories. But check out Bootleg Recordings. I've got a record label, a very small record label. I've only released one record on it. I'm just so immature and irresponsible. That's how I mean that.
So, do you still, so you write your music or do you do cover songs?
So I've got a couple of covers because I'm lazy and I can't bother to. But the song that's been released, I wrote it myself.
Was you high when you wrote it?
No.
Weed?
No.
So you write sober?
No, I have beer. I've got to have beer. I've got to have beer. I can't do it with weed. And not only that.
You're creative on beer.
Yeah. The thing with weed is, I'll tell you what the problem with weed is, it affects my vocal cords. So I get croaky. So you go in the studio, you're going to go on my YouTube channel, you're going to see me singing, right? If I smoke weed before I start singing, it gives me croaky. I think it sits on my vocal cords.
Write the song and then
that would work. Yeah, that could work. That could work. I could do that.
Process.
No, I agree. That can work. Because you know what? There are times that I've smoked weed and lay down in my bed like that and I've got lyrics going through my mind, even because I make beats as well. I build rhythms. I build some brilliant rhythms. You'll see all of that on the YouTube channel as well. And I'm laying there at night. I've got things going through my mind after smoking cannabis, you know, and it just fucking disappears into the ether by the next morning, you know. But I don't really smoke.
Grab it, but it's very hard to
grab. Mate, that's gone. That went last night, and the nightmare that I had.
I haven't smoked for 3 weeks, and I'm grabbing all my ideas. Like I said, so I've been a bit long with the edits, so the edit's going to be getting out before Christmas. You see Dreads here. Got some new gizmos.
When's my one coming out? When's this going to get edited?
I'm trying to get this edited over Christmas and have this up and running before the new year starts. I've got 2 before this.
I reckon this one, right, just because I'm his mate and I can say this to him, right, I reckon this one needs to be the New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve. That needs to be this one.
So when put me on that time.
Yeah, mate. No, forget them other 2. Right? Listen, do our one that we've done. So that on New Year's Eve, when they're all off their nut and all of that, they could all sit down and watch this and have a laugh. And you know what I mean? You know.
It's me now.
And look at Bootleg Recordings on YouTube. He's going to put the link in the thing. And I've only got a few videos, but you know what? I'm lazy, like I said. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, I've got videos. I've got Barbados karaoke. If you fancy a laugh. All kinds of things on that, you know. There's reggae, there's all kinds of things, man.
I told him off camera, I'm trying to go Thailand in the new year. And I'd love you to come to Thailand.
Oh, if only I could. I can't. I couldn't go. When I had 1 kid, I had no escape. Then I had 2 kids and I had a chain around my ankle. And now I've got 3 kids and my arms are chained to my ankle. No, I couldn't do it. Not only that, to be honest with you, I'd feel guilty. There's no way I can leave her at home with them 3 little arseholes and go. No, I love them, I'm only joking. But and then go to Thailand. I couldn't do it. But in the future, when they're a bit older, I'll be all over the place. I'll come.
Well, I'm gonna go set up base over there, and then obviously when you're ready to come,
I'll be there, mate. I'll be there definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Cool. I'll probably have to bring the missus. That'd be all right. Cool. Yeah.
Guys, if you're new to the channel, like I said before, go downstairs, like, subscribe to the channel. For all those that are watching, thank you for being here.
Lovely.
Thank you for being there. It's only Piff.
It's only Piff. It's only King Alpha Sound System and Bootleg Recordings.
EJ.
Ras P. Ras Peter.
Nothing but love, people.
Blessings.